Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a new thing where we start reading. We do a bit of reading every once and so often. So, we're going to start here. Yes, a very good one too, said Oliver proudly, but he's worried this morning. He's worried this morning. Why, what's up, said George. Well, he's working on something important, said Oliver, and this morning he had a horrible letter. It said that unless Dad agreed to give the writer information he wanted about his dad he was working on, he'd kidnap me. Chapter 3. Oh, rubbish, said Julian. Don't you worry about that. We'll tell your dog, Timmy, to look after you. Just look at him playing with the ugly mongrel. Timmy's a mongrel too, but we think he's beautiful. I think he's too big, said Oliver fearfully as Timmy came running up panting. The other dog went back to the two men who had just whistled for him. Come on, let's swim, said Dyke. I can't swim, said Oliver. I wish you'd teach me. Right then. We will then. We've had our swim, said Anne. We'll go on into the water now. Come on. As soon as the five, Timmy too, were splashing in the sea, yelling and diving in and out, having a glorious time while Oliver paddled near the shore. Then suddenly Julian gave a shout and pointed to the beach. Look, what's happening there? Here. All the five looked and saw something very surprising. The two men who owned the big brown dog were dragging Oliver out of the water, one with his hand over the boy's mouth. They're kidnapping him. Remember that threatening letter he told us about that his dad got this morning? Come on, quick, see if we can stop them. Timmy, come on now. Chapter 4. They swam to the shore and hurried into their sandals. They've taken him up to the cliffs. They're at the top, look, panted Julian after then Timmy. But even Timmy could get up to the cliffs in time to rescue the screaming boy. Julian was at the top first with Timmy, just in to see a car driving off. A big dog was galloping after. Why didn't they take the dog in the car too, wondered Dyke. Perhaps he's a car-sick dog, said Anne. Anyway, I bet he knows where the two men are going and has been ordered to follow. If the car doesn't go too fast, he can easily keep up. I've got the number anyway, said Dyke. Listen, I think Anne's right when she says the dog must know where the men are going, said Julian, and it can't be far away if the dog has to run the whole distance. Timmy wasn't listening. He was sniffing the ground and here and there. Then he suddenly began to trot along the cliff road, nose to the ground. George gave a sudden explanation. I know, he's sniffing the other dog's tracks. He knows his smell and he's following it. You're right, look. Let's see if he'll follow the trail properly. And Julian, he might lead us to Oliver. Tell him, George. He always understands every word you say. Timmy, listen, said George, and pointed to some paw marks made in the sandy road by the big mongrel dog. Follow, Timmy, follow. Understand? Timmy lifted his big head and looked hard at George, his ears pricked up and his head on one side. Yes, he understood. Then, with his nose to the ground, he trotted swiftly away down to the cliff road, sniffing the tracks of the other dog. How did he do it? what a nose Timmy had. "Come on," said Dyke. "Timmy will lead us wherever those men are taught." Okay, now. Very steadily, Timmy followed the scent down the cliff road, turned off to the left, trotted down a lane, swung to the right, then left. He waited at the traffic lights, and then they changed to the green. He crossed the road, and then he trotted right through the town, nose a trail. The children padded behind in their swimming things, and getting very puffed. At the other end of Timmy turned to the left and paddled down a lane, nose still on the scent. The four followed closely. I'll have a rest soon," panted Anne. "Hey, that's the car that took the boy away," exclaimed Dyke suddenly as they passed a garage outside which stood a black car taking in petrol. "The men are in it, but I can't see Oliver, and that great dog isn't anywhere about either." Well, they must have hidden Oliver somewhere not far off and came back here for petrol," said Julia. "Go on, Timmy, you're on the right trail. I expected they left that dog in charge of the boy. I bet anyone went near, he'd tear them to pieces." "And I don't want Timmy in a dogfight," said George. "Yes, no, so good," said Julian, and came to a stop. Timmy, however, went on and wouldn't come back, even though George called him. Obstinate thing," said George crossly. "Once he's following a trail, nothing on earth will stop him. Well, I'm going after him in case he gets in trouble." "Look, Timmy's gone through that gateway," said Anne, "into a field. There's a shed at the bottom of it. Could Oliver be in there with the dog inside guarding him?" Timmy stopped suddenly and began to growl. George ran to catch hold of his collar, but Timmy wrenched himself away and raced to the shed, scraping at the wooden door. Immediately a volley of fierce barks come from the shed. The five halted. A voice came from the shed. "Help! Help! I'm locked here." Chapter 6. "There's Timmy followed the trail correctly," said George. "Quick, Jew, we mustn't let him break in that door. The other dog will fly at him, and at us too, whatever we can do." It was obvious that the other dog had been on guard and would fling himself on anyone or anything that tried to prevent him from doing his duty. "Timmy, stop throwing yourself against that door," yelled George. You'll break it down, and then goodness knows what'll happen." As both dogs, barking fiercely again, flung themselves on it. Opposite sides, the door cracked in two places, and the bottom half shook and shivered. Come back for part 2. I will be doing part 2 on Sunday, what day is it today? I think it's 17th. Come back on the 19th of February for the famous 5. We are on page 62 and we started at 22, so that's very good. We started there and we've ended for part 1 of there. So come back to see what it is. Make sure you subscribe, like and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified every time I do a new video. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for all the support and nice comments. I've pinned someone, so I'll give them a shout out once I find out what the name is. So thank you, guys. Bye.